Hi, I'm Rog. Welcome to SNNS. Today we are looking at the Takstar and the Rode VideoMic Go shotgun microphones. And we're actually going to take ourselves out of the little studio today and we are going to go into the open world and downstairs and then back into the studio. So, let's go. I'm finally outside and now we're testing the Rode microphone just to see what kind of sound it picks up. Hopefully it's picking up a fairly good quality level of audio whilst I'm walking the dog. Where is he? There he is somewhere. Yeah, now let's move over to the Takstar and get an idea of how that is working. So now we are running on the Takstar, and this should give us a little bit of an idea of what it's like to film outside with both of these microphones. So when we get back, we'll stick it in the computer and see what it sounds like. The shotgun mic should be pretty suitable for picking up audio directly in front of the camera, left and right, and sort of behind it as well, actually. So yeah, we'll see how well it's doing. My one is slowly slipping to the side because these screws are falling out of the bottom, so that is one downside of the Takstar. Maybe the build quality isn't that amazing, but from what I'm aware it's a fairly good microphone, so we will see how that goes. This is just a control test for the microphone. I'm standing behind it and just seeing what kind of audio it picks up. This is now a control for the Rode. Just ambient noise, it's probably catching a lot of wind, but I'll be quiet for a sec. So, as a control, this is the camera microphone at 2 meters. I'll move this back another 2 meters and see how far back we can go and see how the camera microphone deals with this audio. This is the camera microphone again, and this is 4 meters. I'm talking to camera, and this is a test to understand what the audio is like from the camera mic. What's the audio like from the camera mic? Little rhyme, I don't know. She sells. So this is 6 meters now. I'm going to reset the test and we're going to chuck on the Rode VideoMic Go, and we're going to see how the camera mic compares to the shotgun mics. She sells seashells by the seashore. So we are now listening to the Rode VideoMic Go microphone, and this is at 2 meters. It should be very capable of picking up a voice clearly from this distance. Later we'll compare that with the Takstar and the camera microphone. She sells seashells by the seashore. So now this is the Rode VideoMic Go at 4 meters. Again, the camera mic should be picking up the audio pretty well. It may also be picking up the dog rustling underneath the tripod there. You know, he's going to be a little git, but what can you do? He's a sausage dog. She sells seashells by the seashore. There's a lot of sibilance in this, so it might be, that's another test really to figure out whether the sounds are getting picked up properly by the microphone. Anyway, let's move to 6 meters and see what this microphone is like. We are now at 6 meters. Let's see, and that's indoors with, you know, some bare walls, and there are some covered walls, and, you know, with whatever. So it will be picking up a fair amount of room noise, and I'm talking at quite a reasonable volume. I don't think I've increased my volume as I've moved back, but it's entirely possible that I have. She sells seashells by the seashore. Nice. Okay, so now we have moved on to the Takstar microphone. This is the 2 meters distance. She sells seashells by the seashore. Hopefully, again, I'm talking at the same volume, exactly the same volume as I was in the other distances. I think I am. I kind of have this camera voice that it's always a certain volume. Anyway, that's 2 meters. Let's move to 4. 4 meters. Again, she sells seashells by the seashore. I'm hoping that it's picking up reasonable audio. Again, it will still pick up room audio. We'll see how that goes. Let's move this to 6 meters. Okay, so now we are at 6 meters. She sells seashells by the seashore. This is a very serious video, isn't it? Or at least it seems like it while I'm making it. It's not that serious. Is it? I don't know. I mean, it's serious if you want to buy one of these microphones. It's useful. But yeah. I mean, one thing I noticed actually when I took the Takstar back out of the bag from being out in the fields is that I left the microphone on. And it's very easy to do that. If you're in a rush, if you're moving quickly, if you're working quickly, you might take the Takstar off and you might forget to turn it off before you put it in your bag. That way you're going to waste batteries very quickly. So that is actually a little downside on the Takstar. Now, there are a couple of other settings on it, and I'm just going to try the plus 10 decibel setting on the Takstar now. So let's do that. Okay, so now there should be a 10 decibel boost on the Takstar microphone. It should be, basically this bit of audio should just be louder. It should be boosting it. So let's see how that works. This is 2 meters. She sells seashells by the seashore. Let's move back to 4 meters. Okay, so now we're at 4 meters with the Takstar. She sells seashells by the seashore. You know, red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry. Yes. Anyway, let's move it back to 6 meters and see how it performs again. This is with the 10 decibel boost. So this is the Takstar with the 10 decibel boost at 6 meters. Let's see how these perform when we chuck them into the computer and give them a listen, and we can give it an assessment. Last but not least, again, because the Takstar has 3 different options, I want to go through those options. Well, I say 3 different options. One of those is on and off, so that doesn't really count. But we've got the low pass filter and the 10 decibel. So right now we've got the low pass filter on and the 10 decibel boost off. I won't do, well, all right, I will do the test with it on as well. But this is 2 meters with the low pass filter. I mean, I suppose I have to do the thing, don't I? She sells seashells by the seashore. You're going to be sick of that. Trust me. Trust me. Sick to the teeth. Right. God, this is 5 minutes. Okay. 4 meters with the low pass filter on. 10 decibel boost off. She sells seashells by the seashore. So now we are at 6 meters. I feel like when I get this far away I do start shouting, but so this is 6 meters with the low pass filter on, and I might have to cover that up later because it might not be a low pass filter. It looks like that. I assume that's what it is, but anyway. So this is 6 meters with the low pass filter on, the boost off. She sells seashells by the seashore. Okay, so this is 2 meters with the 10 decibel boost on, or up, or whatever you'd call it. I mean, it's just a little flicking switch. A flicking switch. You flicking switch. We all know what I mean by that. Do we? I don't know what I mean by that, so what the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, whatever. Strangeness. Strangeness is filling my body up. Anyway, this is 2 meters, 10 decibel boost on, and the low pass filter on as well. Let's see what that sounds like. She sells seashells by the seashore. Let's move to 4 meters now and get an idea of that. Okay, so now we are at 4 meters, and this is the 10 decibel boost with the low pass filter on. She sells seashells by the seashore. Let's move to 6 meters. I didn't say much here because I'm getting bored of saying that same flipping line. And now I've just talked to the camera normally, so there you go. This is now this is the control section of this, what I'm trying to do. Okay, now we're at 6 meters. Again, well, I don't need to tell you what settings I have on the camera because I've said it twice already, and I can just put it on the screen. Anyway, this is 6 meters. She sells seashells by the seashore. We may as well keep some kind of control here and say that. I didn't say it in the very first 2 meters with the camera mic, but you know, whatever, let's just deal with that. This is the Takstar. Let's get all this onto the computer and see how it performed. Right, now it's time for the conclusions. So let's start with the vlog test. Which one do I think was better? Well, I think that the Takstar had some knocking sounds that were occurring while I was walking. Some of that might be down to the fact that it is broken. My one is broken. I could probably fix that with a bit of tape. That would probably reduce the knocking sound or remove it entirely. But the simple fact that it has broken I haven't used it that much and it has fallen apart, brings me to think that the build quality is not as good. Now the Rode will never have that problem because the shock absorption and things like that are all designed into the design and the frame of the microphone. So you're never going to have a build quality issue in that sense. Now it might be slightly more fragile, but I mean, as long as you're not, I mean, you shouldn't be throwing these things around anyway, but as long as you're not throwing it around, it's probably not going to break. So I would have to give the vlog test to the Rode. They both performed reasonably well. You know, I have to give the Takstar that. It wasn't a bad example of a shotgun mic. It's not a bad example of a shotgun mic. It's pretty good. And for the price point, it's incredibly good, really. But in terms of quality, I have to give it to the Rode for the vlog test. Now, if we move on to the indoor tests, looking at those, I did notice the Takstar, when it was on its standard settings at 6 meters, it did begin to sound quite tinny. It didn't sound, I just didn't really think it sounded that good at distance. Close up, it was perfectly fine, not really a problem. I'd probably say they performed fairly similarly. But the Rode, I think, does have a slightly better sound to it, and it's more capable of picking up sound at distance than the Takstar was. But the Takstar does have the little switches, which I think did allow it to do better at picking up the audio from 6 meters away. But it's just kind of annoying that you have to flick those switches to get it to do that, whereas the Rode kind of does it automatically. You don't have to change any settings. It's literally just take it out, plug it into the camera. Whereas with the Takstar, you know, you have to take it out, plug it into the camera. You've got to turn it on. You've also then got to make sure that your settings are correct. So if you're filming at distance, you've got to check it. You've got to flick the 10 decibel boost up if it's you know, if it's something sort of quiet at 6 meters. So that's where I have a bit of a problem with the Takstar. In comparison to the Rode, it just provides you with something else that you have to think about when it comes to, you know, your videography, and that's kind of annoying. You want to be able to get a camera out, get the microphone on it, and record. You don't want to have to get the camera out, get the microphone on, make sure the microphone's all turned up and ready, and then have to start recording. It's just another step in the process. I mean, it's not, in no way is it a big step. It's not a big step in the process, but it is just another step. So again, the indoor test for me goes to the Rode. I think it did perform better, and being a more simple design and a simple sort of process, I think that, you know, speaks volumes. So again, the indoor test for me goes to the Rode. I think the Rode wins it. It provides a better sound, it's got easier functionality, it's designed better. In my opinion, you know, this isn't a sponsored video, all that jazz, but yeah, I prefer the Rode. Now, if price is an issue for you, the Rode is around £60 for the Video Mic Go. I'm sure you can probably get a second-hand one for a little bit cheaper, and then the Takstar is about £20. So, you know, if you're looking to save 40 quid, the Takstar is a perfectly good option. But if you want the quality and decent sound and you don't want to have to think about those extra steps, then the Rode is also a perfectly good option. I've been Rog. Please like, subscribe, do all that jazz, and yeah, see you next time.